serve the job. We've got to do all these things. And then if there's some time left over, maybe we can have a glass of wine before bed. And that's the only self-care we're going to get. And what I want us to really start thinking about is that really self-care? Like, is that really nourishing you? Go back to those other questions and really put it through the whole cycle. Because I think, and I'm just going out on a limb here for all my newbies, that you're probably feeling a little awkward when it comes to self-care. And we want to reverse that. We want to make self-care the baseline. Number 8, who in my life is a good example of someone who practices self-care? Now, if you're able to rattle someone off and you're like, oh, so-and-so, they've got it on lock. They sleep when they need to. They drink their water. They go on vacations by themselves. They do the things they want to do, maybe nails, hair, makeup, whatever. They take care of themselves without a question. There's no guilt involved. There's no justification needed. If you're able to rattle that off and just, yeah, this person is that for me, I want you to start paying attention to how they do it. Because if you follow or mimic the people that have really developed a good, confident self-structure and are able to make self-care a priority, and they're able to make that their default, you really do want to start to mimic their behavior. And if you're not able to rattle off someone and you can't think of anyone in your life, like maybe you're just surrounded by a bunch of people pleasers, or maybe you don't have anyone in your life that you really feel like has it really on lock, like everyone around you is maybe struggling with their self-image, their self-confidence, those types of things, then I want you to start seeking them out externally, either through, social media, research, Instagram, whatever. Go find these people. And really, there is a pattern. These people have no problem setting boundaries. They don't care what other people think. They're in charge of their own time. They're able to have healthy relationships, and they know nothing gets in front of their self-care. And you can watch how they talk. You can watch how they behave. You could maybe even sit them down and say, hey, I notice you're really good at this. What's your secret? But look for that person, because that's going to give you a lot of insight. Okay, I want to run over that list again one more time really quick. Number 1, how do I best identify my own needs? Number 2, when my emotional gas tank is empty, what nourishes me the most? Number 3, how do I challenge myself? Number 4, whose needs am I putting before my own? Number 5, why do I feel guilty for doing things for myself? Number 6, if I had unlimited resources, what would I do for self-care? Number 7, finish the sentence, when I put myself first, I... And number 8, who in my life is a good example of someone who practices consistent self-care? Now, I'm just very quickly going to go over the key that corresponds with the answers you gave. If you were able to answer these questions right off the bat without hesitation, you're probably in the kind of phase 3 of self-care, which is the maintenance, and you might need to try something new for self-care. If you had a really difficult time answering 4 or more of these questions, you're probably in that 2 medium category where you need to move into more depth personal work. You got a little bit more work to overcome some of these things. And if you really struggled with answering these questions, or you had a really negative reaction to these questions, you're probably in that level 1. You need the basic self-care, which if you have a hard time thinking about what the basics of self-care are, the number 1 answer of all the people I have interviewed on the show, and it's been hundreds, and it's been people from all walks of life, single moms, married dads, a football player, different people from all over. The number 1 answer is sleep. You gotta get your sleep on lock, which means you've gotta prioritize your time. Now, don't overhaul your whole schedule tonight. That's not going to work. Just go to bed 5 minutes earlier than you normally do, or lay in bed for 5 more minutes than you normally do in the morning. And do that, adding 5 more minutes every day or every week until you've gotten to your 6 to 7 hours of sleep a night. And if you need 8 to 9 hours, then do that. Make that the priority. Sleep is number 1. Getting your water in, that's number 2. The number 3 top answer of what do you do for self-care is always some form of boundary setting. There's a whole archive of shows and episodes on how to set boundaries, on how to ensure that you're working from a place of boundary. And so make sure you check those out if those are some hard things for you. All right, my friends, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have a story you'd like to share and you want to be on the show, please email me. It's Kris, Kris, at selfcareissexy.com. Okay, we've got some really great content coming your way, so stay tuned. And remember that self-care is sexy. We're giving you permission to put yourself first.